Hello, my name's Megan Kenzie. I'm a Detective Sergeant at Wiltshire Police. I've been in the organisation for 15 years, coming up to 16 years now. And obviously I look young because I joined when I had just come out of college. I decided to do the police when I was a very, very young child. I said it in a video when I think I must have been 9, and I stuck to it. Decided to join the organisation where at the time you needed maths and English equivalent GCSEs, which thankfully I had, and I came into the organisation. So I just want to talk a little bit about my career so far, just so that you can all see what we do here, and how there is such an expanse of jobs within the organisation. And there is a lot, because I've done quite a lot. So when I first joined the organisation, you have to do 2 years as a police constable, so uniformed police constable, which I did. At the time, we had introduced neighbourhood policing teams, which we still have now. So I did a year on uniform response, which was all of the fun stuff. So driving around in cars with blue lights, which was probably the highlight of my career even now. So I did that, went out and dealt with victims, arrests, did a lot of foot patrol in the town centre to get to know all of the community and the people that I would be dealing with. I then moved into the neighbourhood policing role just because I wanted to see a bit what it's like to deal with the kind of long-term issues for communities rather than the fast pace that was happening on response. So I did that again, I think for just over a year, went and dealt with more of the antisocial behaviour and the long-term impacts for the communities to try and make more of a change. Very quickly, I knew that I liked a lot of the long-term investigations, so I decided to go to the proactive burglary squad, which again meant that I got to keep doing the fast driving element, but this time it was in all of the plain cars. So we've got plain cars as well, which have blue lights. So I still got the fun, but this time I got to wear more of the normal day-to-day jeans and t-shirt, which I felt a lot more comfortable doing. So I worked on the burglary squad, which turned into the burglary and drugs squad for about 3 years, because it's where I had an absolutely amazing time. A lot of young people doing, knocking down the doors, going in, doing drugs warrants. Everything that you see on telly was pretty much what I was doing for quite a while then. I then moved from there, decided I needed to enhance my skills, so formally wanted to be an accredited detective, which meant I had to study for my exam. Studied and passed and went to General Office CID, where I was dealing with really complex crime, things that really, really impact on victims. So victims of sexual offences, serious assaults, so broken bones, things like that. So a bit more gory, but again, really benefited me as a young police officer, just to kind of enhance my knowledge and my skills. I quickly realised my kind of heart had stayed with the fast-paced drugs offences, so I moved on to what was called our specialist crime department. So this is our undercover policing world. So again, I was driving fast cars legally, and being able to not be a police officer, because that's what I was being paid to do every day. So I was being paid to walk around and pretend I'm not a police officer, dealing with, so following people, all of the stuff, again, the sneaky stuff that you see on TV, that's what I did. Again, I stayed there for 3 years because it was something that I really, really enjoyed. Meaning that I didn't have to get up and put uniform on was obviously a bonus, but it was just really good fun. I then decided that I wanted to get promoted. So by then I was kind of mid-20s, and I think I just thought the grown-up thing to do was probably to get promoted. So I took my exam and passed, and I became a sergeant. So I needed to get my basic knowledge, so I went back to uniform response, exactly where I'd been as a PC, but I was the supervisor. Sergeant ranks within the organisation, you still get to do the fun stuff. So you still get to go out there, you still get to have a good time, but you are the one that is maintaining standards, ensuring that everybody's knowledge is the same, which is why I've stayed at this rank for such a long time. So I moved from there after doing that for two and a half years. I moved back into my investigative role and went to the Public Protection Department, which was child protection, so all of the child protection offences. And we also dealt with domestic abuse, which you'll see a lot of. It's just come to the forefront of policing. So we've got a specialist department that deals with that now. So I did that for 2 years, and then I went off and had children. So I've come back to the organisation now, I had 2 children and came back, and now I work within our Equality, Diversity and Inclusion department, it's a department that's all about making our organisation representative of the communities that we serve. So that will be, the young generation trying to showcase what we do to get everybody as excited as we are about the opportunities that we can give you. The same as ethnic minorities. Wiltshire, we have very diverse communities here, and our organisation isn't as diverse as it should be. We're trying to ensure that we get to that place by a lot of positive action work that we're doing, targeted campaigns. That's what our department do now. So 2020 has been concerning for everybody, employers, employees. What I want to say about COVID-19 and how it's affected Wiltshire Police is quite short. Because it hasn't really. We're so lucky, and every day I wake up and say how fortunate I am to work for our organisation, because I don't have to worry about my job. I don't have to worry about where money's coming from. I don't have to worry about looking after my children, because of the flexibility that we give here anyway. But more, it's because everybody needs police, and they always will. We will never wake up one day and think we don't need the police anymore. We can police everybody. We can look after ourselves. It just won't happen. The police are ever expanding. This year we've had the uplift, where 20,000 more police officers are being recruited. That's force wide. We've had so many opportunities within our organisation. We're expanding in every area. It's not just frontline police officers. We've got so many different departments that we keep in-house here. So we have our own HR department, for example. We have our own IT department, all of which we need to staff. And so, again, if you work for an organisation like us, and let's hope something like COVID doesn't happen again, but if it does, you need to be reassured that if you choose a career like this, you will always be safe in the knowledge that your job will be here. So I've already talked about my current role, which is within the Equality, Diversity and Inclusion team. Part of our team, as I've already said, is to showcase what Wiltshire Police can do for young people and what job opportunities that we can offer, to try and encourage as many as you that would like to come and work for us. That's our role. So I'm going to hand over now to a couple of my team who will talk you through the qualifications that you will require, and they'll talk a little bit about the process, mainly about applying and becoming police officers. But what I would say is, if there are any other inquiries that you'd like to speak to us about, any other job opportunities that I've already described, please just contact the Equality, Diversity and Inclusion team, and somebody will be in touch.
Hiya, PC Eric Frimpong. I currently work with the Positive Action team as a Positive Action Officer, which is the team that Megan works in. I work with Megan, Mandy and Sam on the same team. Currently on an attachment on the team for 12 months. I've been with the team since February this year.
Hi everyone, so my name's Mandy and I work with Eric. We're in Megan's team and we also work with our other colleague who's called Sam. I too am a positive action officer. I've worked in positive action for approximately 3 years and I'm a police officer, as you can see, and I've been a police officer for approximately 17 years now, and I'm also based here at Devizes at the police headquarters. So normally we'd be coming out to speak to you, we'd be visiting all the colleges, but at the moment, because of the coronavirus, we're not able to do that. So we're doing a lot of our contact by social media, by Skype appointments, etc. I just wanted to let you know about all the different roles that are available within Wiltshire Police. We have uniformed roles and we have staff roles that are available. The uniform roles that we have are police officer, Police Community Support Officer, otherwise known as PCSO, and Special Constable as well. Those are people that have the same powers as a police officer, but they are volunteers and they get a uniform and they look exactly the same as a regular police officer, but they do it part-time in their own time as a volunteer. We have lots of staff roles that are available as well, like for example in our control room, working in our HR department, administration, in our finance department. What else is there, Eric?
To add to what Mandy's already said, we also have the computer department, which deals with all our computer needs in the job. And when it comes to the police officer roles, there is, when you join as a police officer, as you or some of you have seen on the telly, there is various things that you can do as a police officer. In uniform, you can be a dog handler, you can be in CID. There is so many different opportunities. You can be a traffic officer. You can even be someone in uniform once you come out of, not in uniform, as a detective once you finish your 2 years probation.
Great. So just to talk to you a little bit more now about becoming a police officer, if that's a route that you want to take, there are basically 3 ways that you can become a police officer. The first one is the one we call the PCDA, which is the normal apprenticeship route. So for that you will need Maths and English grade C, GCSE grade C, or equivalent, so you could have functional skills level 2 in Maths and English, and you also need a level 3. But those qualifications are at the moment, at this time of filming this video, so please do check the police website to keep an eye on what those qualification requirements are, but that is what they are as of today. The other way you can become a police officer is if you already hold a degree. There's the degree apprenticeship. So if you already hold a degree, you can come in that way. The degree course is, if you've already got a degree, is 2 years, which is slightly shorter than the first one I mentioned, the PCDA. That's a 3-year course. The other way that you can join as a police officer is if you have relevant experience, and what I mean by that is if you're a police community support officer, you've joined as a PCSO, you can then transition across and start your way into becoming a police officer. You will still need to have Maths and English, GCSE, grade C or equivalent. But your experience as a PCSO or a Special Constable will be counted towards the level 3.
Part of our role as a positive action officer is to help people who have got come under any of the 9 protected characteristics. What do I mean by that? So if you've got any disability, that shouldn't be a barrier for you to join the police. So, for example, anyone who's dyslexia or have got something like epilepsy or learning difficulty, that shouldn't stop you to becoming a police officer. We can put reasonable adjustments in place, which will then help you to perform at the same rate as every other police officer. So there is no barriers in having a dyslexia as a barrier for you to become a police officer. So that shouldn't stop you. If you've got ADHD, any other thing that we can put reasonable adjustment in place, we would do. Your sexual orientation shouldn't be a barrier for you to become a police officer. If English is not your first language, that shouldn't be a barrier for you to become a police officer.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that, Eric. All that remains to be said from myself and Eric is the best of luck for the rest of your course. Please keep an eye on the Wiltshire Police website. There's lots of information there and job roles. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And it's a fantastic organisation, so please come and join us.